Yo, what is up, guys? It's Cohen back again today with another video. This is going to be a bit of a different video. I don't have a script for it or anything. I'm kind of just going off of the top of the dome here. As you can tell by the title of the video and probably by the thumbnail, I'm not sure if I have that one designed yet, but this is the 1 year anniversary today, March 11th, 2021, is the 1 year anniversary of the day that the NBA season was shut down. The Thunder Jazz game happened. That ended up being suspended. I was watching that game, obviously, as a Thunder fan, and trying to figure out what was happening. Everyone was super confused. This was a really just overall confusing time for everyone. Before I fully get into the details of stuff, I brought back the jersey over the hoodie combo. It's something I've been wearing in a couple videos. People always would comment, "Oh, why you always wearing a Thunder jersey?" So I was like, "Okay, I'll show them I don't always wear a Thunder jersey," and didn't. But Thunder basketball is back today, so I'm wearing it over the hoodie from Clothes by Graham. Go check them out. Link in the description to the shop. Hoodie's really comfortable. That's where I got it. Use code CONE for 15% off. So, to set kind of some context, going into this game, I was on spring break from college. If you don't know, I'm a college student. I'm currently in my third year of college. As this was hitting, it was my second year of college, second semester. So, I'm just getting on spring break. And a lot of colleges across the US were extending their spring breaks because COVID was becoming a factor. They weren't sure how it was going to play out. Cases were kind of ramping up in the US, and no one was sure what was going to be happening. So, this day, my spring break actually got extended. And little did I know that spring break was going to be extended again. And ultimately, I was not going to go back to college until like August. I was going to stay at home for the rest of my semester and through all the summer and not get to do much. Now, a lot of people forget that a couple months before all this happened, COVID wasn't something people talked about. I have a tweet up. I believe it's from like this, like from like mid-December. I think it's like December 18th or something like that. You could probably still find it. It's still out there. That I tweeted out. I got in the car from playing pickup basketball, and my radio was on, and it was on some like talk radio channel that apparently I just left it on, and they're talking about COVID, and I was like, oh, I'll listen to this for a second. And the way they're talking about it, I tweeted this out. It sounded like an apocalyptic movie. I was like, wow. I just turned on the radio and they're talking about COVID-19 in China, and it sounds like an apocalypse. And people actually commented stuff like, as long as it doesn't cancel the NBA season, I'm fine. Which people went back to when it was canceled, and that tweet kind of blew up a little bit more. It got a lot more attention, and you can still find that out there. It's still out there somewhere. So it was kind of on the radar, but not as much until like late February to March is when it really hit people's radar. But up until this point, I would never saw it as that big of a threat to cancel like the NBA season. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on extended spring break. I'm gonna miss a little bit of time from college, and then eventually we'll go back, and I will be able to resume my semester. NBA basketball is gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be okay. And so March 11th hits, and there are like cases are rising and stuff. There was a whole Rudy Gobert touching the microphone situation, talking about COVID, talking about how they're not scared. The NBA was actually at this point already talking about the possibility of playing without fans. They're like, oh, this is maybe something we might have to do. And then we get to the Thunder game. So I'm sitting there in my living room watching this game, right? And I'm watching it on the TV, and all of a sudden, all the players normally doing their warm ups, the game is about to start, and they kind of just start like talking. Someone runs out of the tunnel and says something, and then they all just kind of go off the court. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm checking Twitter and stuff. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I forget who tweeted out, but someone tweeted out that the game was postponed. And then, of course, there was the announcement. That is like the video that a lot of people use. I like literally just tweeted it out as I'm filming this video because I'm filming it at like 12:31 in the morning on this day. And so if you watch that video, the Thunder announcer was like, the game is postponed. You are all safe. And everyone just starts screaming. And that, to this day, is like the weirdest, like creepiest thing to me, is how much we didn't expect it. And from that day, how much changed on. Really, it's just underestimate how much that day changed everything, because when the NBA shut down its season, all the major sports leagues followed. People don't remember that the NBA was the first league to go, okay, this is a problem, we're going to shut this down. And they shut down, the NHL shut down, everyone just shut down. And we didn't see basketball come back until the bubble, but for a long time, everything was just up in limbo. And not just that, but kind of life was up in limbo. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't realize I was playing my last indoor pickup basketball game before March 11th. I didn't realize I was playing the last one until to this day. It has now been a year, and I have not played an indoor pickup basketball game since then. I've played like some outdoor with some friends now and again. I've shot around on an outdoor court. I've even managed to shoot on an indoor court at a local gym, but it was just me and like my brother. But to this day, I believe the last time I played was like it was like early March. I think it was like March like 7th or 8th or something like that. It's now been over a year since I've played indoor pickup basketball, and that blows my mind. To this day, it still blows my mind that it's been that long. That I had no idea how much life was about to change, and the NBA really also had no idea how much life is about to change for the NBA because we're still to this day playing with limited capacity fans, and some teams are still playing without fans. When the NBA suspended its season, it was everyone like, "Oh my God, this is serious." But I don't think anyone thought it was gonna be this serious. I remember talking to some of my family members, and we were talking about how long we thought COVID was going to go on, and it was like, oh, it'll be a few months. Like, I think or I read like an article early when this all happened, and it was like, here's how long this could happen, and it said like its conservative estimate was like, oh, it'll be over by September. And I was like, wow, that's really, really long. And I was like, okay, but that's fine. It gives time for the NBA season to come back next season in full force. We'll see what they do about this season, but it'll give time for me to go back to college and everything will be normal. Even if not for like the first month, it'll eventually get back to normal. Be able to go to concerts and stuff like that, be able to go to NBA basketball games, all that stuff. And it just didn't happen. It just kept going, it kept going, it kept going. And eventually, they did develop the plan for the NBA bubble, but for a while, it was up in limbo. We had no idea if the season was going to get finished. Some people thought that the season was just going to end because even when the bubble proposal came around, everyone was like, this is way out of hand. There's no way in how they make it happen. And credit to the league, the bubble is one of the most amazing things that's happened in modern sports in a very long time because setting up that many employees, setting up that many players, and having no COVID outbreaks was a huge accomplishment for the league. And you can talk all about you want about Adam Silver and the league or whatever, but that was huge. That was a huge accomplishment, and that should not be overshadowed by anything else. That was a huge accomplishment. And it just really speaks to the fact that it's a year ago about how long this has all happened and how much this changed our lives. Think about your life 1 year ago today, or not even a year ago today. Think about your life like a year ago and like a couple weeks ago. Like, I was playing pickup basketball with my friends, unmasked, just hanging out, hearing about COVID. It was like, oh, whispers of like this virus, and we were all like, oh, it'll be okay. And then like a week later, everything shut down. I just feel like it's a good time to kind of reflect on this stuff. I feel like it's a good time to think about as a basketball fan. Obviously, it has affected everything greatly. We're not even sure what the stadiums are going to look like next season, which is crazy to me. The fact that I thought it was going to be like a half a season thing. We're going to be like, oh, the last few games of the regular season, the playoffs, they might be in this bubble type format, but eventually we'll get back to normal, right? And we're still not. It's 2021, and the NBA season won't start again until like fall of 2021. And I cannot tell you with 100% certainty that there will be fans in all of those arenas or that any arena will be at open capacity. I mean, I could kind of expect that some arenas will allow it full capacity because there are some states that are doing things way more kind of cavalier than other states are. You could talk about Texas, the Texas Rangers baseball team, if you don't know, just opened up their stadium to all 40,000 people for their games starting in April, like less than a month away. They're like, yeah, this is cool. Yeah. So I'm not sure what it's going to look like for basketball. I feel like most NBA teams are being a little more cautious than that. But I'm not sure what it's going to look like. And we still have COVID outbreaks now. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons recently were around someone who tested positive. And it just kind of blows my mind to think about how different things are now. And also how different things are going to be afterwards. Because we'll probably never fully go back to normal. Like, things are going to change. And even, like, I love going to NBA games. I've been to, I think, 4 in my lifetime. 4 or 5. I've been to a few Thunder Sixers games. I've been to a Thunder Hornets game, a Hornets Heat playoff game that was cool to watch. That was the game with the purple shirt guy, if you know what the heck I'm talking about, in Charlotte. But I've been to a few NBA games here and there. But I feel like when I go to a game next, because I eventually am going to try to go to a game, it's going to feel so weird. Like, it's going to feel wrong. And I'm going to feel super, like, kind of like anxious the whole time. Like, oh my God, I'm around all these people. And that's something that has also changed. Like, when I go play on the outdoor courts that I go play basketball on now, I'm very nervous the whole time because I'm like, oh my God, I'm around all these people. And I've had COVID. I had COVID about a month ago. And so theoretically, I should not be able to get it, right? But also, like, no. Like, it's kind of up in the air for that. And so even when we kind of think we know what we're talking about, we don't. And I know this is all about COVID. You don't want to hear any more about COVID. But a year ago today was a really important day, not just in basketball, but in the world. And it was cool to see those last games. I was really happy that, like, for example, the Atlanta Hawks were playing at that time when the season got suspended. I think everyone remembers where they were when they got that the NBA season is suspended tweet. But I was glad that the Hawks were playing that night and they gave a chance for a guy like Vince Carter, who, if he hadn't played that night, if he had played like one night before his last game, he would have had no idea it was his last NBA game ever. But because the NBA suspended its season and he was like unsure if they'd be able to play again, he got his farewell, and I was really happy to see a legend go out like that. If it had been a day earlier, he would not have gotten that opportunity. So things almost kind of worked out perfect in his case. Obviously, it's not perfect. The fact that he didn't get to go out in like the playoffs, he didn't get to go out as like the legend winning, like raising the championship and everything like that. But I'm glad he got to go out on his own terms. That's something that we don't think about a lot of the time, is where certain players were at. Because there are also players that didn't make the playoffs that probably that was their last NBA game they had ever played, and they had no idea they were playing it. Like it would have been for Vince Carter. If you have players who just aren't great enough to end up in the continue in the league, and those players played their last game not knowing that the NBA season was going to be suspended, and now they just never get to play an NBA game again. And it kind of just speaks to the fact that you never know what's going to happen. I don't want this to turn like a philosophy lesson or anything, but you just never know what's going to happen. So treat every day like tomorrow might be completely different, because on March 11, 2020, everything was different. Or starting that day, everything was different. I'm hoping we can kind of get back to normal soon. I really want to go to an NBA game. I want to meet up with some of y'all at some point, because a lot of y'all seem really, really cool. So I'd love to be able to meet up with some of you guys at some point. Hopefully we can all get vaccinated soon enough. Wear your masks and stuff like that. Keep wearing them. I never thought I'd have to tell you to wear your mask right now. Like I said, I thought it was going to be over. Like my most conservative estimate was like, it'll be done by the fall. You know, the summer, it's hot. It'll kill the virus. It'll be done by the fall. And now we're coming up on another summer where I have no idea if what it's gonna be like. I don't know. The next time I'm gonna get to play pickup basketball indoors. I just bought a new pair of basketball shoes, some Kyrie 7s. They're pretty cool. And I was like, man, I kind of want to save these for indoors. And then my thought was, I have no idea the next time I'm gonna get to play inside. And so the other day, like the past 2 days, I've been hooping with them outside. It's whatever. I don't care. I don't care if like I'm ruining them or whatever, because it's what I got. It's what I gotta do. So yeah, I just gotta make this video reflecting on that situation, reflecting on what's now been a year since everything kind of changed. I feel like it's a pretty monumental occasion. Let me know where you were or what was going on with you at the time of this happening. Whether you were watching the game, whether you're watching another game, whether you were just out and you saw the tweet, whether you found out later. There were probably also people who had no idea what was happening at the time. Like, because not everyone's on Twitter. I know a lot of you guys are probably on Twitter because you know who I am, and a lot of my YouTube audience has come from Twitter. But there are people out there who don't have Twitter, and so they like had no idea what was happening until they like saw it on ESPN or something the next day or like that night, and they were like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And then they had to figure it out. So there's so many different ways that people figured it out. There's so many different perspectives, and I really want to hear some of you guys's. So tell me what that was like to kind of reflect in this time. I guess comment below. Tell me what that experience was for you. Yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, this is kind of a disjointed, kind of like rambly type video. I'm not even really sure how many coherent points I made. But overall, just the point is, treat every day like tomorrow might end up way different, because it could. Please wear a mask so we can get out of this thing, so I can go to some NBA games. You can go to NBA games and go play basketball with friends. All of us want to hoop, so just wear a mask, chill out, be safe, and I will see you guys later. Everyone, say it back.